It's the end of May, so I have some brand new picture books that were released this month, May 2024. Now, I create these videos every month and I have a whole collection of brand new books that were released probably at least the past 2 years, if not 3 years. And I'll leave a link to that playlist in the description box down below because there are probably hundreds of books by this point. Brand new books that you can use in your classroom if you're looking for new ideas. I know that so many new books are released every month and it can be really hard to keep up with all of them. There's so many good ones. So I'll leave a link to that playlist down below and you can check it out so that you have brand new books to use in your classroom right away. But I have a very large collection today. I know I had a large collection in April as well, but I have even more books for you today. You'll probably see me looking at my notes a little bit because it's hard to remember all of them. But my name is Sarah and I show up every week on this channel to bring you book ideas and read aloud tips that you can use in your classroom because picture books have such an amazing impact on your students' learning, on their social emotional well-being, and I think they are a great way to teach, a great tool to use in the classroom to teach your students. So if you love picture books just as much as I do, give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to let me know your favorite book in the comments below. Let's jump into those new books that were released in May 2024. The first book that was released in this month was Sister Friend by Jamila Thompson Bigelow. This one is perfect for fans of Evelyn Del Rey is Moving Away, The Day You Begin. They have very similar concepts to them, so if you loved either of those books, this one you should definitely grab. This one is about celebrating the joy of finding and cultivating those friendships within your culture and finding that community that you feel a part of. In this story, Amina feels invisible. She feels like no one sees her in her class. And it's been that way ever since she started at this school. But then another new girl arrives in the class and Amina sees her. She sees her brownness, she sees her hijab, even though the other kids in the class do not. And Amina really wants to be her friend, but she can't seem to find the words or the right actions to let her know that she wants to be her friend. Until one day they find those words together. A great story about friendships and community and inclusion to share with your students. Another book that was released this month is This Table by Alex Killian. I believe I shared this at the beginning of the year in the books that I was looking forward to that were being released this year. If not, let's go over it quick again. It's this gorgeous story about a table and the stories and the things that grow around it. So it follows the life of this table all the way from the seed that's first planted until the tree that it's grown into, and then until it becomes this treasured object in somebody's home, that table at the center of their household. How it becomes a space for people to gather around, to be together, for those holiday parties, for those special science projects, for coming together and being a family. This one I think is neat because it'll inspire conversations with your students about those ordinary everyday objects that we don't really think about, but how they play such a big role in our lives. Whether it's a table that you have family dinners around or that you do a creative project at. What are some other objects or things in their home or in their school or in their daily lives that have such meaning, but we don't necessarily think about them? That's a great conversation to start with your students that goes along with this brand new picture book. Next, we have The Curious Why by Angela DiTerlizzi, and this may sound familiar. This is a follow-up to her book, The Magical Yet, and I think this is one that parents and teachers alike will really enjoy and will like sharing with students because The Curious Why helps you to see that you're only bored if you choose to be. If it's one of those days where nothing's happening and nothing's really going on, don't fear, because The Curious Why will show you that there's always something new to discover about the world around you. Do you want to know where the dinosaurs went? How crayons were made? Why bees sting? This book will definitely open your students' young minds to the possibilities and curiosities all around them. And it will remind them that all all they need is a little bit of that curiosity to have fun. And it's much easier than they think. This picture book will definitely get your students' minds thinking and being curious about the world around them. This next brand new picture book that was released in May 2024 is perfect as the summer season is starting to approach. This one is called Good Night, Good Beach, and it's written by Joy Crowley. We're having a windstorm, so I'm hoping that I don't lose power. You may have just seen the lights flicker. Hopefully the power stays on. This book is about the essence of a family on the beach in the summertime. Their skin is sticky with salt and their feet are sandy, and they're hearing the crashing of the waves and seeing the seashells on the shore. It's a poem that shows us that the summer holidays by the sea definitely have a rhythm of their own, and it takes us through the day and ending the night having just had a wonderful day by the beach. The next new book that we have is called Joyful Song, a naming story by Leslie Newman. In this story, Zachary is so excited because his brand new baby sister is about to have her naming ceremony in the temple, and they'll be surrounded by his moms, their congregation, their friends, their family, and it's going to be a wonderful celebration. And he's so excited he can barely contain it. And on the walk to the temple, his neighbors keep asking him, "What is her name? What is her name?" And his mom say, "Not yet. Her name will be revealed at the ceremony." And they invite each neighbor to come along with them, and they create this colorful parade of diverse characters until it's finally time to reveal her name. And Zachary is the one that gets to do it. And if you read this book with your students, you will find out what that name is and how special it is. This next book celebrates skateboarding, family, and community. This one is called Let's Go by Julie Flett. Every day, a young boy watches as the older kids pass by him on their skateboards, and he longs to join them. And one day, his mom brings out her old skateboard as a present for him, and he practices everywhere, in the streets, in his auntie's yard. But when it comes to try them at the skate park, the skateboarders are falling down around him like waterfalls. Can he gain the confidence to join them? You'll have to read this book with your students to find out. This is another great book about perseverance, and I just shared a video a couple weeks ago about books about persevering, and I will leave a link to that in the description box so that you can add this one to your collection of books on persevering. This book also has a glossary of Cree words in the back, as well as a Cree refrain that is repeated throughout the story. And it also includes a note from the author about her inspiration for the book. I always find that really interesting, why the author wrote the book, where they got their inspiration from, if it's based on true events. So I think that's always neat to share with your students about how authors come up with ideas for their stories. Let's Go is another great book to add to your collection of new picture books that were released in May 2024. The next book that I have is by a well-loved author, Matt De La Pena, and this one is called The Perfect Place. And it really tells a story about the perils of perfectionism. So Lucas goes to the perfect school in the perfect neighborhood, but life at home is not so perfect. His dad's truck has broken down again. The electricity has been turned off. He really wants to share something special with his mom, but is unable to before she has to rush off to her second job. But that night, Lucas dreams of a strange light, and he follows this light out of his room, down through the alleys, into the perfect place where perfect people live. Everything there is more beautiful than he could have imagined. But is everything as perfect as they might seem? And it really highlights the fact that people may not be materially rich, but are rich in love, and why things that look one way from the outside may actually be quite different on the inside. So a different perspective for students to take and to be aware of. So I think this will be a powerful book to share with your students in the classroom. Next we have Touch the Sky. This one is written by Stephanie Lucianovic, and this is another great one to add to the list of perseverance. In this story, Vern longs to be one of those kids who swoops until their toes touch the sky on the swings. So he heads to the swings, but no matter how hard he tries or how desperately he wants it, he just can't get his legs to move the right way in order for his swing to move. But then a chance encounter gives him just what he needs to know and helps him to soar. Again, this is another great book for perseverance and helping students understand that they need to keep working and trying something new over and over again until they get it just right. Okay, I still have quite a few more. I told you there were a lot of books in this list of books that were released in May 2024. Next, we have We Need Everyone. And this one is written by Michael Redhead Champagne. This book asks, what is your gift? How can you use your gift to help others? This book helps students identify what makes them special and how they can use that to overcome challenges, to achieve goals, to help out their community. And by celebrating diverse cultures, perspectives, and abilities throughout the illustrations in this book, students will learn that we need everybody, that everybody brings something different, something unique, something special to the table, and that we need all of these people. We need everyone to create the world that we live in. Next, we have Your House is Not Just a House by Iris Goodwin. This rhyming read aloud encourages students to use their imagination. It's a rainy day and a kid opens their closet to find a teleportation chamber. And in this adventure of make-believe that follows, we see that our homes are more than just a place to live, that they are vessels for creativity and joy and imagination. This is a fun book to share with your students to really inspire them on those days when they might be feeling a little bored. Another book that was released in May 2024 is The Color of Love by Poppy Harlow. This book celebrates how love comes in many different forms. And it poses the question, if love were a color, what color would it be? And everyone in Ms. Clementine's class has a different answer to this question, but Grace doesn't know which color to choose. Should it be blue, like her favorite color of shoes, or yellow, like the daffodils that grow in her neighborhood? And so as Grace and her classmates share what love means to them, they learn that it comes in so many different forms. And it will encourage your students to look for the different ways that we show love and share love with each other. Next, we have Dear You, Dream Big by Baptiste Paul. In this book, we learn that anything and everything is possible. Perhaps you want to become an artist or a scientist or even a president, even when or especially when the path is hard. This book is a powerful lyrical anthem of Black pride. It celebrates Black creativity, leadership, and innovation. It's perfect for fans of All Because You Matter, I Am Every Good Thing, and I Am Enough. This book would pair really well with those ones, and I think it's another great read aloud for you to grab that was just released. This next book is another great one for summertime. This one is If You Spot a Shell, and it's written by Amy Securo. A young girl collects shells and thinks about all the creative things she can turn them into. She imagines one is a magical kaleidoscope, another one is a swim cap, and one is a rocket ship to take her up high. The young girl really draws inspiration from the uniqueness of each one of these shells and will inspire your students' own creativity, especially as we get going into the summer months, and will help them look for inspiration in nature, whether it's at the beach or in their own neighborhood. Another book that was released in May 2024 is The Rainbow Parade by Emily Nielsen. It's a sweet story of a family's first time at the Pride Parade. So it's one day in June, and Mommy, Mama, and Emily take the train into the city to watch the Rainbow Parade. They all love how the people are loud, proud, and colorful. But when Mama suggests they join the parade, Emily feels a little nervous. Standing on the sidewalk to watch is one thing, but walking in the parade, surely that takes something special. And it reminds readers that sometimes pride takes practice, and that there's not just one way to be a part of the LGBTQ+ community. A great book to share as we are moving into Pride Month in June. Another book that was released in May 2024 is Leo in the Pink Marker, written by Marika Foster. This is another book that celebrates creativity. I feel like there is a lot of books that celebrate creativity in this collection. It's a popular one as we move into the warmer months, but Leo loves doodling away with his pink marker, but coloring inside the lines isn't much fun. So when Mom and Mama aren't looking, he finds a way to liven up the gray, dusty scrapyard. A splash of pink would look great on the crushed up convertible, and the magnet crane, and the family cat. Uh-oh. Leo got carried away. Will his moms be upset? You'll have to read this one with your students to find out more about this creative young boy. Next, we have Oddbird's Chosen Family by Derek DeCierto. Oddbird has always been on his own and he's done pretty well. That's changing and now he wishes for a family. So when Oddbird's friends plan a surprise for him, he realizes he's surrounded by those who accept and care for him. And that all families don't always look the same, but that sometimes the families we choose are where we belong. And the last book that I have to share with you, I should really count these up and see how many books I shared this month because there were quite a few. Thank you for sticking with me through this whole video. This last one is The Sun Never Hurries by Roxanne Turcotte. Papa Joe loves to slow down and savor the day, but the excitable young Charlie might need some convincing. Charlie's grandfather, Papa Joe, uses an hourglass to remind him that every moment is precious. But Charlie doesn't really understand this concept. So to teach Charlie the importance of taking her time and slowing down, the two of them spend their day at a leisurely pace, transforming that ordinary day to a wonderful time. And so this story reminds us to savor those special moments, to slow down, and to enjoy that time that we spend together. Now, I want to know, if you're still with me, which of these new picture books from May 2024 you want to grab first to share with your students. Leave me a comment down below. I will leave all of the books linked in the description box so that you can grab them for your class. You can grab them from the library, on Amazon, or your local bookstore. But I think these are some great ones to share with your students to add to your classroom collection. If you found the video helpful, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, hit the red subscribe button, because I'll be back next week with more book ideas and read aloud tips that you can use in your classroom right away. Have a great week.